A big reception for Leeds United, the last champions of the old Football League, running out to launch the new Premier League and given a stirring reception on a ground where these supporters never saw them lose in the league last season. The only club indeed in the 4 divisions to be undefeated at home. Dean Holdsworth, who scored 38 goals for Brentford last season, makes his Wimbledon debut after becoming their record buy in a deal valued at £1 million. While Leeds number 9, Lee Chapman, a proven goalscorer at top level, has scored 5 times in his last 4 matches against Wimbledon. Leeds field the team that played in the Charity Shield, which means that 3 international midfield players can't get into the side. Indeed, £2 million record signing David Rocastle isn't even on the bench. The substitutes are Steve Hodge, club captain Gordon Strachan, and reserve goalkeeper Mervyn Day. Clubs can name a goalkeeper as a 3rd substitute this season, but only 2 subs can be used during the game. A blow for Wimbledon is the absence of John Fashanu, who's almost a presidential figure at the club these days. He's out with a hamstring injury, so number 7, Paul Miller, partners Holdsworth up front. At number 3, Gary Elkins plays left-back because Terry Phelan has been unsettled by some turbulent transfer talk involving Manchester City. On the far side, the first block of Leeds' new East Stand, a £5.6 million project, which is due to be completed with 17,000 seats for the start of next season. And a new strip for referee and linesman this season in the Premier League. They're wearing green tops. That's Gerald Ashby from Worcester in the middle, and his 2 linesmen, Wally Natras of Ferry Hill on the left, and on the right, Terry Lynch of Middlesbrough. Just making some notes down there on the Wimbledon bench. 3rd from left, manager Joe Kinnear. Turned things around for them last season. So after all the hype and the build-up, the Premier League is underway. Leeds United all in white, the champions playing from the left. Wimbledon in blue. There's Rod Wallace. Dorigo. So the first free kick to be taken by Scott Fitzgerald, number 6 for Wimbledon. There goes Earl, number 8, pursued by Batty. And by Wallace. Free kick. David Batty, who played in Graham Taylor's team in the European Championships in Sweden. But lots of competition now for midfield places here at Leeds. My goodness, there is. And it's failed the offside trap there. McAllister beat it, but John Scales is so fast, he made up the ground. Speed just making his way in there. It's aimed at Chapman first. Clark, Holdsworth, Newsom with the challenge, and then it was Batty. Oh, he can't pass back to his goalkeeper. There's an incident with Scott Fitzgerald. He had to hurriedly turn the other way. Last season, he would just have nudged that back to Hans Seggers. Not this time. Otherwise, it would have, had Seggers picked the ball up from the back pass, it would have been an indirect free kick. And the new law applies, whether the back pass or whether the pass comes from inside or outside the penalty area. There's Chapman. There's Wallace. Chapman again. He's got a terrific strike rate throughout his career, Lee Chapman, one of those who can look to a goal every 2 games or so. And this was an instant effort. The throw aimed at him in the first place, the flick on, and when Barton returned it, Chapman volleyed it. Sanchez. Headers by Chapman and then speed. Cantona's pass to McAllister opens things up for Leeds. There are 3 the other way for him. There's Newsom. McAllister's cross, Wallace is there, it might run on, oh, and Joseph in trouble, Chapman! Lee Chapman scoring a goal which will please the supporters and himself, but it won't please Wimbledon the way it came about. But last season's top scorer gets the first goal in the Premier League for the defending champions. And it all came from a cross by Gary McAllister, but Roger Joseph here. Now, was he in two minds about passing back to the goalkeeper? I think he may have been. Chapman certainly robbed him and steered it wide of Seggers. Leeds take the lead after 15 minutes. Elkins. Onside, Cantona. Chapman's in the middle, Speed is joining him now. Good cross, Chapman, good save, Chapman, off the line, McAllister, wide. Exciting stuff. Hans Seggers responding well to the first header by Lee Chapman. But what a great cross, as Chapman acknowledged, by Cantona in the first place. That was superbly delivered by the Frenchman. Just look at the accuracy here and pace. There's the header. Instant stop by the goalkeeper. Here's Chapman again. Off the post, was it? Or Seggers again. And then McAllister, and then Fitzgerald, and finally wide by McAllister. But I think it hit the post in the middle there too. Here comes Batty. Cantona up with Seggers. Sustained attacking play by Leeds. When they build up a head of steam, as we saw last season, they can be relentless. As indeed the Leeds of old used to be. Can't pass it back. I know, I keep saying it, but already in this half of the first half of Premier League football, we've seen defenders like Scott Fitzgerald caught in two minds, and Roger Joseph will sympathise with him there, because it was really his indecision that led to the goal. Chapman. This time Cantona finds McAllister. And Wimbledon very much on the receiving end here. Dorigo. Speed makes the run now, and a good one it is too. Chapman! Well, he'll be picking himself up rather gingerly, because I remember Lee Chapman getting a very bad injury when he showed typical bravery on one occasion last season. This is Gary Speed looking for Chapman at the far post. It was a good cross again. He got it well, cleared the crossbar with the header, but I think it was against Manchester United where Chapman damaged himself last season. He seems to be all right today. And Gary Speed supplying the ammunition for him. Clark. It was Paul Miller who was fouled. So it's a free kick to Wimbledon. Earl is in there, so was Sanchez. Header out by Speed, then Elkins, Sanchez. This is Miller. Touch on for Holdsworth. This is Scales. That looked mighty close from here. John Scales, who'd stayed forward after the free kick with Wimbledon's best effort of the half so far. It's Paul Miller who sets the play up, and when the ball comes out to Scales, well, it certainly shaved the post. Words exchanged there, and face-to-face, Sanchez and McAllister. That looked as though it might get nasty for a moment. I don't know whether Gerald Ashby's managed to catch up with that. He had to follow the play. There was a moment of some temper there between the two number 10s. In fact, it's cooled a bit now because McAllister's gone across to take the corner. And Cantona and Chapman take up their near-post positions. Speed coming in. One of his qualities is good heading ability, Gary Speed, and that came right on half-time, with his team leading by 1-0, maintaining the good form they always seem to show against Wimbledon. Lee Chapman, indeed, has now scored 6 goals against the Dons in the last 5 meetings, and it was his goal which put Leeds in front. This could have been 2, right on half-time, a header by Gary Speed. And Steve Hodge is on for the second half for Leeds in place of David Batty, who has an Achilles injury. Well, the new Premier League has given spectators and commentators a bit more time to drink our coffee and eat our chocolate at half-time, because it's now a 15-minute break rather than 10. But here are Leeds, keen to get back into action. That's a foul by Cantona on Barton. And the referee needs to speak to the Frenchman, and indeed, he's going to be booked. This is the incident. Barton goes for the ball. Cantona definitely caught Barton's leg and didn't meet the ball. So a high challenge gets a caution. Fitzgerald. Clark on the far side. McAllister's header out. That was Miller again. And here's Earl. And there was a foot up there. That's going to be an indirect free kick for dangerous play. Somebody raised their foot. Leeds are protesting, but I have a feeling that Mr. Ashby is quite right. Whether they'll say he was lifting his foot to play the ball is another matter, but just see what you think here. It's knocked in, I think, by Laurie Sanchez. There's Andy Clark. Now, is that foot up? Clearly, in the referee's opinion, it is. And he gave the free kick, indirect, of course, just about on the penalty spot. And somebody's going to get booked. Looks as though Fairclough and Hodge are the two players talking to the referee. Looks as though Hodge's name has gone in. Yellow card. Barton, oh, good save by the goalkeeper's feet, and the return shot deflected across the goal and cleared. It was Holdsworth had the second effort, but Leeds scrambled it away. Paul Hart in the middle there next to Mervyn Day, who you may remember playing centre-half for a few clubs. Leeds United being one of them. Flags up on the far side. And this time it's in Leeds' favour. McAllister takes, there's Chapman. Cantona, Sega's only half away. This is Hodge. Oh, good ball, McAllister. right across. Ooh. There's got to be a corner because his cross was deflected by a Wimbledon head away from Seggers and the goalpost. That's Fairclough, offside, offside. Hodge turned the ball in the net, it will not stand. He may have not been the only Leeds player that far forward when we see it again, but there was somebody in an offside position and well spotted by the linesman on the far side. There's the header. There are two of them in there, in fact, if not more. Cantona is one, and Chapman. Chris White. Chapman. Good header on, Wallace. Set up by Lee Chapman, and that's a good combination up front for Leeds because little Rod Wallace is a whippet. He gets away so fast, and that shot rising just over the bar. Chapman. Offside. Barton. Oh, it's over the head of Lukic, and it's gone in. A quite amazing equaliser by Warren Barton for Wimbledon. Would you believe that? They do come up with the unexpected, don't they? And the bench, I think, are as surprised as anybody. Well, I did say earlier that Barton counts a goal he scored at Anfield as a very precious one. He's now got one at Ellen Road against the champions, and just look what happened. A superb lob, and Lukic is nowhere. It's over his head and in. And Wimbledon make it 1-1 with 14 minutes to go. Dorigo. Now they've got some runners on here of Leeds. Barton's got to be sure what he's doing here. He couldn't pass back. Wallace. Oh, it all worked well for Wimbledon, didn't it? Wallace did it for him. That is really where the defender is in a nightmare situation because he doesn't want to give the ball to his goalkeeper, but he's got forwards breathing down his neck. Dorigo. Hodge. Cantona. Can he edge it on to Chapman? He can! Chapman! A massive celebration starts around Ellen Road. Mixed, I would say, with a certain amount of relief. Leeds haven't played as well in the second half, but Chapman, who put them ahead when they were playing well, has now restored the lead. Seggers beaten by a fulsome shot with just 4 minutes to go. Steve Hodge plays a part in the build-up here, slides the ball in. Cantona, two defenders get half a touch on it, headed on by Cantona. Chapman, oh, Seggers got his hands to it, but it went inside the near post because of the sheer power of the shot. Cantona, Wallace, Barton. Back in by Chapman. Cantona, this is going to come to Hodge, is it? It's Earl with him. Seggers has missed it. Cantona! No! How did that stay out? Oh, and the goalkeeper, what is he doing there? Hodge. I don't quite know where Hans Seggers was going, but they kept the ball out the net somehow. Goodness, that was a scramble. Dorigo. The champions start with 3 points after being given a scare in the second half. Lee Chapman continues his run of scoring form against this opposition, getting both goals today. But Wimbledon, who do love to thumb their noses, figuratively speaking, at the big guns, threaten to do so again until Howard Wilkinson's team wipe the smile off their face just 4 minutes from the end through Lee Chapman.